think I'll just get straight into the game then. It's kind of a lot going on, I think. I think we're almost at the end. Wait, it's a little bit loud for me. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, something I noticed before, but I like noticed it after stream. This time block is 2 hours long, so this definitely feels like we're nearing the finale. Yeah. Let me check the time chart real quick. Can't go to Achi's just yet. Because Achi's with Kano right now, I guess. So I'm thinking I should actually start with Minorikawa, since Minorikawa is a bit more disjointed from the action, I guess. Not sure if my throat is ready to read. Okay. Let me drink. Alright. Jackie can't move, right? Because Jackie fell down the stairs. Hang in there, Chiaki. Just keep it together. Reikao rushed to her side and offered her a hand. Surely it hardly matters at this point. Not gonna make it on time regardless, Katayama said coldly. He's kind of an asshole. And if any case, if 4-star General Gossip doesn't get released, it's Mr. Toyama who's gonna be in trouble, not you. I dare say the world would be better off with one third-rate gossip rag less anyway. Shut your mouth. If the gossip doesn't come out, I am going to be in trouble. An article I've written is supposed to be in next month's issue. It's a piece I worked my very hardest on to the very end. A piece Mr. Mino saw fit to put in print. If all that goes away, yeah, I'll be in trouble, alright. Wobbler, she struggled to get back up to her feet. Chiaki, your zeal is a marvelous thing, worthy of admiration even. But when it comes to work, results are all that matters. Said to put it that way, but I must be honest, it's just common decency. Katayama glanced at his pocket watch. You have 57 minutes and 10 seconds remaining. At this rate, you won't even make it to the interview venue before your time's up. I don't think even a further extension of your deadline would make any difference in the end. Damn it! Minorikawa ground his teeth. He wondered if he should just leave Chiaki here and go interview SOS by himself. Expand the article on SOS, then work a small part of Chiaki's interview piece into at least fill the layout. Right now, the single most important thing was getting the magazine out the door for Toyama's sake, but we did cut most of Chiaki's copy after all she'd done. He might wind up totally killing her passion for being a writer. Have to stop waffling. Professionals don't let their personal feelings dictate their decisions. I can help Chiaki work through her emotional struggles later. Chiaki, that's enough. The young woman got to her feet, staggering as she began to climb up the stairs. I'm not giving up. I can't give up now. Obviously in pain, she struggled to keep her legs moving. Oh. Damn it, I can't do it. Look how hard she's fighting to stay in the game. Can't tell her I don't need her article now. At least the next issue of the Gossip wasn't going to save Toyama. It would save Chiaki as well. Minorikawa couldn't abandon either one of them. Which left him with a hell of a dilemma. He needed to make a decision. If he didn't stop wavering, soon he'd be out of time. But try as he might, he couldn't come up with a plan. A familiar voice from behind him. If you're wondering what path to take, allow my... Kimizuka? Did the traffic clear up, I guess? I hope. Allow my taxi to be your guide. fucking love this taxi driver. Oh my god, I love this man. This is the best character in the fucking game. Such a great heroic shot too. Where to, sir? Despite his polite demeanor, his pride was obvious. Mr. Kimizuka, I appreciate... Oh, it's multiverses, okay. I appreciate this thought, but with this traffic, I see nothing of the sort. Okay, sure, but... So well aware of Kimizuka's capabilities, but the prospect of cutting through the chaos that currently filled the streets is more than a little daunting. You know this town as well as I do, there's nowhere you can't go. Alright? What other choice do I have? Guess I gotta trust you. This will be my last request of the day. Put it down the street. I feel like I heard something about labyrinth before. If I saw like the word labyrinth in a choice, I should take it, I think. Labyrinth. Complex series of passageways designed to be difficult to navigate, a maze. Quite easy to get lost or disorientated in the place where Minorikawa is going and where you're going too, but any maze can be solved with enough effort. Perseverance and wit, though taking frequent notes wouldn't hurt either. Best of luck. The labyrinth in Uraharajuku, you said. Worked an eyebrows. Something the matter? Nothing at all. Hurry up and get in. As soon as Minorikawa and the others have climbed into the cab, Kimizuka tore off through Shibuya network of narrow side streets. Passengers in the back seat jostled roughly back and forth to the sound of screeching tires. This altogether far too excessive. Was as his head bounced repeatedly against the window. To think we allowed such inconsiderate driving here in this country. Opened her laptop and was somehow working furiously to finish her copy. Sound of her fingers clicking across the keys echoed within the vehicle. How's it going? How are you doing anything? Honestly, on that computer. Just a little more. Eyes were glued to her monitor, her face all seriousness. Then over at Minorikawa. What business do you have at this labyrinth? A little interview. Interviewing SOS, sir? I feel like it might not be best to get too involved with that lot. It's the name of the driver's warning that seemed a little off. Do your taxi driver connections tell you what SOS is up to? Something of a vigilante corps? Name of keeping the neighborhood clean and safe? Nothing but bad things. Okay. Reminded himself that he better be on his guard. Just how do you plan to go about interviewing a gang like this? It's nothing for you to worry about. Have a plan. Just what exactly is this plan? Secret. Even derisive grin. Clearly wasn't impressed. Turned to look at Chiaki, too engrossed in her copy to even hear the conversation. Realize this is for work, but do you really need to take such risks? Yes, I do. Thought back to that look on Toyama's face, that look when he finally regained his confidence. Can let Heaven Publishing go under. Read a canvas on which Minorikawa shared his art with the world. Thinking about it now, Minorikawa realized he'd always been chasing Toyama's shadow. It was galling to admit, man had been the ideal Minorikawa strove to live up to. So he hated seeing Toyama reduced to such a pathetic state. Wanted Toyama to remain indomitable, to keep puzzling down any and all obstacles in his own peculiar way. It wasn't about to voice these feelings out loud. He felt more than a little embarrassed to be taking it all so personally. Take on a job, you give it 100% every time. That's what makes you a professional. Wouldn't you agree? I do indeed. But you'll have to demonstrate that 100% in that limited time you have left, which is, by the way, 51 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm not budging the slightest on that submission deadline. Please do keep that in mind. Then look at his watch. Have a mind to break that thing. Breaking my watch will not stop time. Shot him a furious glare, but Katayama's composure was unwavering. I feel like Minorikawa's story might end like halfway through this time block, then. Since this time block is 2 hours. For Flappable, and the only way Minorkawa was gonna be able to put him in his place was to meet his damn deadline. Set Nintendo. 30 of the 51 minutes he still had to write his article. Only 20 or so to get the material. Slammed to the brakes, Caps get it to a halt, stared through the windshield, saw a smallish boxy minivan weaving erratically along the road. Things headed our way. Was it the blue car? Don't worry, sir. Just leave this to me. Steered him clear of the oncoming vehicle. As the minivan sped past, an eerily cold breeze wafted over the taxi. I guess the, what's it? Dry ice machine, then. Driven by members of the Wandering Angels Theater Troupe, on the way to return to Dry Ice Machine, they used in their performance to Endo Electronics, malfunctioning, continually spitting out white plumes of carbon dioxide. Inside the van began to suffer from oxygen deprivation and are driving around Shibuya in a daze. Will they be able to make it into electronics in the end? Jesus Christ. Roll down the fucking windows so you can breathe. The heck is that? I'm not sure, but let's hurry on our way. Stomped on the gas once more. Here we are. Outside of a dilapidated old pool hall, you're a lifesaver. Just be sure to be careful, sir. What? What are we being careful about? Nothing. You just wait here in our car. So I had coffee to finish up. Alright then. You wait here too. But of course... 49 minutes and 6 seconds. Quick mental math. 19 minutes. However dangerous SOS might be, couldn't afford to hesitate for even a single second. Stepped out of the taxi and headed for the pool hall. Phew. Here goes. What the heck? What is this place? This is different. Pitch black void. Old wind blew from deep within the darkness, carrying with the sound of a bestial roar. Like a dungeon of some sort. Anticipated this much. Fountain pen? No good bringing your gear with you if you don't actually equip it. Firmly in his right hand, he strode boldly into darkness. Branching path. Walking for some time now, up ahead there was a T that led both left and right. Pretty important. Or lines written there. Honest one tells no lies. A liar never tells the truth. The one is honest, two are liars. See if you can find what's true. Decided to go... let's go the right way. A chamber about 10 square meters. Tama. This is weird. I have whiskers. Grinned proudly at Minorikawa's inquiry. It's a hint. Saying that whatever it has whiskers. It's like this, I'll be able eventually to solve someone's riddle and win the challenge. All you get is what's written here. Proceed. No need to fight you, nothing of the sort. Not much into pain, really. So to leave you with a warning. There's a liar in here. The blue cat is a liar, only the green cat tells the truth. You mustn't believe what the blue cat tells you. Alright then. This is so weird. Green cat scampered off down the passageway. Ladder. Large hole in the floor. Through the darkness. No other way to continue. Jesus Christ, that was loud. Long ladder, another passageway stretched out menacingly. It's so loud. Too dark to see how far the tunnel might go on. Turn back, but doesn't mean I can't wait to bail out of coming so far. Letter T. Does it matter? Does it matter? Will I just still reach the same bad end? Let me go to the left then. Hey again. That is some weird color correction. Greeted him enthusiastically. Shoot. Can't moat by mistake. Got that. Later then. Hold up. Yep, and fix it. Okay. Are you the liar? I'm not. The red one is the liar. Really? Can rest easy on that. Really do need to be going. Obviously a liar, though. Another large hole. This makes me so uneasy. Too dark. Idea to turn back, but couldn't give up now. Straight ahead. No cat. Okay. No one was here, no one was there. Press on, called up behind him. Wait up! Sorry about that, didn't mean to keep you waiting. A great runner. Jiggled his chubby tummy. I'm the honest red cat. When I meet someone for the first time, I say, nice to meet you. I already met them, I say hello. I can't remember if I've met them, I fall back on, nice weather we're having. 4 legs. Got it. Are you leaving already? Yeah, I've seen the hint. Would you take it a little bit easier? How come? Is there some sort of problem? No, it's not that. Just want someone to talk to, I guess. Caught up and made its way past him, holding its big head and belly as it ran on into the darkness. Let her. Alright, keep going, keep going. And the passageway to the right. To the right! Lightened far off in the distance ahead. Could it be? No doubt about it. It's the exit! And yet, no matter how much he ran, he couldn't seem to reach his destination. On and on he went, but as far as he could tell, the exit got no closer. Although he was getting lower and nearer, something else decided to just above his head, and the walls had closed in until he can touch both simultaneously. It turned sideways to continue. Pressed ahead until he no longer had the space to stand. Dropped on all fours and crawl along. Pressed to right along his belly. Distant view of the outside seemed impossibly far away. Went on until the passageway was mere 30 centimeters wide. Squishing his body up, he forced himself even further along. To see that the exit was getting near. God, my brain immediately went to Danganronpa 3, the execution in Side Despair. And looked like he maybe had maybe 10 more meters to go. Stretched himself out like an earthworm, inching his way along. Unexpectedly, his outstretched right hand thrust through the opening and emerged outside. We don't talk about that one. Yeah, we do not. We do not. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. She's fine. She's alive. She's fine. Felt the warm crust of air against his fingers. Whoa. What the... Thought the exit was 10 meters away. It's really just a 10-centimeter hole right in front of him. Tried to back up, only to discover that his body was stuck. No way he could go forward through that tiny hole. The only part of him that remained free to move was his hand on the outside. Hey, somebody help! Slapped his hand around, shouting through the opening. Someone, get me out of here. An urban legend spread through Shibuya. With a very obviously photoshopped in hand. Tail of a hand that would appear out of thin air grabs unsuspecting passerbys and spirit them away. Clearly a bad end. Okay. Yeah. Game over. No hand? Okay. So just don't choose the labyrinth. Okay. It's pretty obvious to figure out how to avoid that bad end. Okay. Take us to Inferno! Inferno and Harajuku, the bar? Something the matter. Nothing at all. Hurry up and get in. Alright, and I'm pretty sure the rest of this might just be the same until we get there. So, are you guys still gonna come across the minivan? Yeah. It's gonna play into something, maybe. Ew. Approach the grimy door. Here goes. Drew his leg back and gave the door a hearty kick. What if it's a pull door? Oh. Mob of young men inside the bar turned as one at the sound of the door crashing open. Hell are you? Several of them started toward him belligerently. Calm down and hear me out. Come to interview you. Interview us? What the hell for? These were hot-headed punks, alright. They seemed to be itching for a confrontation. Felt like a punch might come flying his way at any moment. Then her voice called out from further back. Hold up, guys. Susumu? Seated in the far back of the corner of the bar, his air of authority marked him as the gang's leader. Must be Susumu. When you say interview, you mean for TV? Like a magazine. Mind telling us who you are? Name's Minarikawa. I'm a freelance journalist. Doing a magazine piece about young people in Shibuya. All I'm asking is just for you guys to answer a few questions. Here's the answer to the science quiz from last time. Oh, it's methane. I thought it was helium. Tapped as a potential new energy source to replace fossil fuels or atomic power. Concerns about its tendency to exacerbate the global warming process. Extremely flammable, methane produced by food waste has been known to cause garbage trucks to catch fire. Huh. Less than enthused. Just 5 minutes. What do you say? Nah. Not in the best of moods right now. Go on, get out of here. He's gonna make things difficult. And I expected these troublemakers to just up and accept an offer to appear in print. Now was when the real battle would begin. Guess I'll have to write my piece without your help then. Took the bait and then shot him a look. Right about what exactly? Little warehouse raids. Warehouse raids? Raised an eyebrow. What are you talking about? Really now, you're gonna tell me that you don't know your boys are dealing in stolen goods? SOS doesn't steal, man. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Oh yeah? When you asked those two over there. Spotted the two fellows he'd seen arguing earlier at the scene of the explosion, and I pointed them out. Faces betrayed their alarm. Susumu glared at them. Yo, is this true? Averted their eyes and said nothing. I asked you a question. Have you been stealing shit? Moment of surly hesitation, both young men nodded. Nice. You idiots! Marched up to the two and without warming decked them both. How dare you sully the SOS name? As the two gang members cowered, he continued to punch them repeatedly. Enough with the beatdown. Sat up to intervene. Let's get to business here. Won't reveal anything about the warehouse raids. In exchange, you gave me my interview. How's that? Not a bad deal, I'd say. Susumu ignored him, continuing his pummeling of the pair. Hey, no one's gonna play nice with a guy who flies off the handle and beats on people, you know? What'd you say? Look at yourself. You're clearly not the cream of the crop here, kid. This finally fell still. Rowdy Bar went completely silent. Say that one more time. I dare you. Put your ass in the ground. Gang leader's eyes were red with rage. Norikawa snorted, unafraid. That's the exact sort of line I expect from a total wuss who's all bark and no bite. Shut your damn mouth. Get the hell out of here. This is hilarious. SOS top dog's such a yappy little puppy. Sound like an animal. Son of a bitch. Gonna beat your ass. Mr. Mino, I'm all finished. A ebullient voice resounded suddenly through the bar. Oh, why did you come here, Chiaki? Cheerful and full of energy. Indicated a state of bubbling or boiling, so effectively a fancy way of describing someone as bubbly. Ew, why did you guys come here? Chiaki. Finish my copy. Could you please look it over for me? Oh, staring bewilderment. Who the hell are you? I was under the impression you SOX folks were, being interviewed. Yeah, you're right about that. One by one, the gang members started to close in around her. Just... look like you're really angry is all. Do we now? Because we are pretty damn angry. Good grief. I mean, your interview is quite impossible. By the way, you only have another... Shut up. Just leave this to me. You two hurry up and get out of here. No way. Why not? Because I want you to read my copy, miss... I can read it when I'm back in the car. She looked him right in the eye. Prioritized her safety. Understood how she felt, but this place was too dangerous. Time to get Chiaki and Katayama out of here. You guys need to leave. I'll give it a close read through later. Can I read it for you instead, Missy? Surround around Chiaki and Katayama. You writing some smutty novel or something? Knock it off. Don't touch that. Girl, you alone, you scumbags. Susumu was quick to respond. Screw you, man. You're calling scumbags. Any guy who raises a hand to a lady is a scumbag. If you're looking for a fight, you can fight me. Just get your hands off the girl. It's best to look unafraid as a couple dozen vicious gazes now turn back on him. Bring it on. Someone go stand lookout on front. Get him. Yep. It's like being caught up in a tsunami. Took a hard punch to his face and his vision went blurry. He said again, twice, thrice with punches and kicks. This is not our bad end. One of his first assailant paused, another joined the assault. 4 blows, 5 blows, 6. Lost count somewhere around 30. Metallic taste filled his mouth that he could feel his consciousness fading. Strength was being battered from his body. Couldn't even tell if he was standing on his feet or lying on his back. Finally, he felt himself crumple to the floor. Ow. 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 The beating did not let up. As he writhed helplessly, the young man kicked him in the gut over and over. Stop it! You're gonna kill him! Rest in fucking peace. Forced himself to go limp. Kicking stopped. Ah, crap. Take this a bit too far. Mr. Mino! Held his breath and said nothing. Mr. Mino! Don't worry. Holding up a hand to stave her off. A yelp of surprise staring at his battered face. He could feel blood trickling from the corner of his mouth. Turned his grisly visage on the gang members as he painfully rose to his feet. Woke into peals of mocking laughter. Mr. Mino only laughed the harder. Seems he took few too many blows to the head. Poor thing. Averted his eyes, unable to watch. Using finger out of the crowd. Looks like I win this round. What? Blinked dumbstruck. Don't you get it? I'm saying you're a bunch of idiots. Now then, if you pardon me. Get it. Halfway to the exit when Katayama's exclamation rang out. Planning all along to let these guys beat you up, huh? Jerked to a halt, his shoulders trembling. He knew they turned down the interview. Letting yourself get beat up, you'd have something to put in an article, yeah. It's a bit bogus, maybe, but it's one way to get material to fill your pages. Cold sweat. Shut up, you idiot. Continue with his oh-so-brilliant analysis. Sure pulled a fast one on this gang here. Sort of headline your piece should have. Twilight of Shibuya's legendary street crew, former vigilante squad, now a mere gang of common thugs. Something like that, maybe. It's your daggers at Minorikawa. Dare you to write that up? Then we really will put your ass on the ground. Moved to block the door, a broken beer bottle in one hand. You moron! I was this close to pulling it off. Oh, that's a shame, isn't it? Rolled his eyes. Do you think? Advanced a beer bottle at the ready. Incidentally, you have 40 minutes and 7 seconds left. Good luck. On his head. Is everything futile at this point? Hopeless, pointless, ineffectual. Not to be confused with feudal, which refers to the socio-political system of the Middle Ages involving lords and vassals and fiefdoms. Alright, cool your jets. I say that's quite enough. Kimizuka? Spun around, Kimizuka had entered the bar. Stared out sternly from behind his sunglasses. Sir? What's up, sir? All the young men in the bar fell silent. Inori and his companions exchanged glances. Oh man, you? Suzumi's face twisted up in awkward embarrassment. Is he like Kiryu? Which Yakuza what game was it? Where like Kiryu, where Kiryu becomes a taxi driver in Okinawa or somewhere. Twisted up in awkward embarrassment, light one playful but intimidating nonetheless. Hey now. There's no way to address your teacher. Teacher? Nodded. Yeah, until last year I used to be a teacher. But I got into a bit of dispute with my school, so I moved on. Okay, these guys in here are all former students of mine. Sorry that they're such a bunch of good-for-nothings. Wow, never would have guessed. Not since I wasn't their teacher anymore, it wasn't my place to butt in. But I couldn't sit idly and let one of my customers take a beating. Turn back to Susumu. guy totally played you, every last one of you. Still, I would imagine anyone would want to take a beating from this many guys all at once, so it's hardly your fault for falling for it. Taxi driver to street smart mentor. Guy's lost this one. For that, you need to give him his interview. No way. Look here, kid. Let yourself save some face and help a man out. Maybe you won't come up as a bunch of total idiots in this article. Put it that way. Fine. Alright. Liz brought out in resignation. Suzumi, you can't let yourself cave like that. Oh, should he cure you? Come from a particularly nasty-looking young fellow who slouched on the bar sofa. The kid he encountered earlier that afternoon wandering around with a wooden cudgel. Shut up. Let SOS make a mockery of itself. Gang leader let out an annoyed growl but said nothing. Still think you got what it takes to run Shibuya? Shut up. I already said that I'll do it. Sneered sullenly at Suzumi's outburst. Mr. Mino, read it. Strange mixture of confidence and unease. Let me see it. This wasn't good enough, he'd have to make her rewrite it again. He wasn't going to compromise on quality. Swallowed hard, so anxious that it was audible. Why does she have like a doily or like a lace a lace lining on our laptop? That's kind of weird. Last one's over, read it again more closely. Closed his eyes considering. It's wonderful, right? It's wonderful. It's okay. Looked back at him blankly for a long moment. Really? It's really okay. Is it really, really okay? It really is really okay. Watched in surprise as she broke down into tears. Thank you so much. Bowed profusely. Gave her an affectionate little ruffle atop her head. Wiped at her face with her palm, scrubbing the tears away. Guess I never really told you. Sort of articles I want to write and all. I don't think you have. I mean, I want to write socially conscious exposés like you do, you know, and so to hear you say it in that article I wrote is okay. That makes me really... I mean, happy, I guess. Or maybe moved? Eyes were still bright with emotion. Really? That a writer who took inspiration from his work and who strove to be like him. Never thought a day like this would come. It was a peculiar feeling. He'd always been the follower, chasing after interviews in order to be more like Toyama. It made him feel both bashful and proud that the skill and soul he'd honed might be passed on to the next generation. I should be off. Gave Minarikawa a slight nod. Well, I've been tremendous help today. I'm not sure where I'd even be right now if you hadn't been there for me. Not at all. Just driving a customer around to where he asked me to go. That's right, I still owe you a fare. Only had a 10,000 yen bill. No time to be frugal. Keep the change. It's already handing him some money back. Counting out the exact change in advance. You really are a pro, huh? See the money and stuffed it in his pocket. Meet again, somewhere out there on the streets of Shibuya. Putting his index finger at Minarikawa's face. I would have this guy on speed dial, honestly. Minarikawa responded in kind. Interview with SOS went off without a hitch. Tension was diffused, a bunch of ordinary young guys. Juxtaposition of their appearance and their behavior would make for an interesting piece. What you said earlier. About how I'm not the cream of the crop. I said that to get you worked up. Don't worry about it. Let me just ask you what you really think then. How do you think I can be a better leader? I don't know. Not really the sort of guy who wants to stand at the top, you know, but... guess I can tell you two things that will make things go more smoothly with you and your buddies. Forgiveness, and also trust. chewed over his own words. Events of the day replayed in the back of his mind. Forgiven Toyama for his fake suicide and trusted that he'd regain his reporter's edge. Given Chiaki for her bungled interviews and trusted she'd grow as a journalist. That's what helped him through. Forgiveness followed by trust. Forgiveness and trust, huh? Doesn't sound so easy. People gravitate towards someone who can handle things when they get tough. All the articles we need covered. Just over to his side, still need Mr. Toyama's piece. Just got off the phone with my office. Where I received the data from him. Nice! Because he really can get the job done when he applies himself. Now then. Indicated Katayama. How much time do we have yet? Left. 30 minutes. 30 minutes, huh? Looks like we might make it after all. Check it laptop. Get ready to start typing. Young man barged into Achi Endo. I think we might get like a keep out here in a second, so... Hurried over to where Susumu was sitting and promptly prostrated himself on the floor. Whatever this was, looks like it was a big deal. Who was this kid? I need people to bring a guy down. I'm here to ask for your help. I know I have no right to ask you this, but please, I really need your help. I just want to listen to this for a bit. This is some sick BGM. I don't know if they played the song before in the game. I don't think so. Maybe at like the very start of Achi's story. Listen to the young man's conversation with Susumu, you could feel his blood start pumping. Talking about the terrorist plot in which Shibuya had become embroiled. Chiaki? Did you hear that just now? I did. I'm not sure if I follow all of it, but definitely has a whip of a major scoop. What's the play here? You interview him. I have 30 minutes left, right? 10 minutes for our conversation. 20 to write up the piece. I'll help you out. Learn good. Ruffled Chiaki's hair again. Was profusely gripped by a surge of excitement. Why are you doing this? You can't make any sense of it whatsoever. If you write up the piece you just did your interview for, you'd make your deadline. I got out of your way to trouble yourself further. It's no trouble. Just doing what a professional does. That's all. Let out a solemn sigh. Good grief. Looked at his pocket watch again and then snapped it shut. Aren't concerned about the time, then do as you like, I suppose. I'll admit you made me quite curious to read this magazine you're putting together. Rolled their eyes as they turned away. Already they were making their way to Susumu and his gang. Interviews aren't over until you have what you need. Refuse to let them be over. You spend every last second you have to do the best job you can. That's what being a professional journalist is all about. Practice knuckles and step between the two young men. Sounds like you got an interesting story. Mind letting me hear it too? And yeah, I figured. If it wasn't gonna be a to be continued, it was gonna be the end. He's probably gonna hang out with Achi for a bit then. Just these two left, I guess. Guess I just have to start with Kano's story first. Cell phone rang. He saw Kuze's name on the display. Kano speaking. What the hell are you doing? Trouble with irritation. What's the situation with Maria Osawa? Have her in custody. You get her into quarantine immediately. I'll send a counter-NBC terrorism unit to pick her up. Public Safety Mobile Investigation Unit, belonging to the Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department Security Bureau. The acronym NBC refers to nuclear, biological, and chemical threats. Not only gathers information and investigates terror incidents that make use of these means, but also deploys relief and safety restoration measures. What's your location? Situation's a little complicated at the moment. Made eye contact. Give him a knowing nod. He knew what he needed to do here. Briefly informed Kuze of the plan to take Maria to the laboratory, but was careful not to mention Alphard. Please, sir. Let me handle this. Absolutely not! No way I can allow that. Maria Osawa needs to go into quarantine right now. Placing infectees in isolation, such as in a medical treatment facility, in order to prevent the spread of infection. Virus is capable of airborne transmission, and airborne infection isolation room air is sometimes used, which employs negative air pressure to ensure that from within the room, air within the room does not leak outside. Actually, I just realized. Hold on. Is this a jump into Achi's story? I don't think I actually tried to jump. Yeah, no, it's not. Okay, good to know. Can Jack Stanley give orders here? I think he outranks Kuze a little bit. Give us a little more time. Giving her the antiviral is the only way we can save her. If we put her in quarantine, it'll be death sentence. Kano, that isn't your decision to make. Run out of arguments. It's clear that Kuze's only concern was stopping the spread of the virus. Why can't you do both? Director Kuze, are you just gonna let Maria Osawa die? Can't put the lives of everyone in Shibuya at risk in order to save a single person. I know that, sir. That's why I'm asking you to please let me go to that laboratory. Looks like we're not going to be able to hack the password then at that point a quarantine can... I'm giving you an order, and I'm not accepting that order. Listen, how many years have you been a cop? What do you mean by that, sir? This is an order from up top? What's going on here, sir? Please, I need some kind of explanation. Sound like a child. This is dereliction of duty. Call me a child if you want, but I'm not following an order I know isn't right. Punch the end call button with his thumb. Objective standpoint, maybe Kuze was right. They need to think about more than just Maria. If the Uber virus spread through Shibuya, it would be a nightmare of epic proportions. Understood that perfectly clearly, but still. Looked down at Maria's face as she lay collapsed on the floor. Still alive. Couldn't stand idly by and let a living, breathing person die. Like, you can prevent the spread and also save her at the same time. They don't have to be, mutually... what is the word? Mutually exclusive. They don't have to be mutually exclusive options. Consequences be damned, he wasn't going to be the one to weigh the worth of someone's life. As he stood, still clutching his cell phone, Stanley gently set a hand on his shoulder. Did fine. Alphard is in the possession of the EU virus. The people of Shibuya are already in danger. We have already released the virus in the city. If he hasn't, he may do so at any time. All we need to do is get that antiviral and arrest Alphard. You made the right choice here. Thanks, Stanley. I appreciate hearing that. Stanley gave Kano a slap on the ass. No, on the back. He's right. At this point, they needed to focus on the things they could still accomplish. So guys... who's gonna take Hitomi's sister and Cannon to the lab? No condition to walk, so they were gonna have to take a car. They need a driver. I only have a motorcycle license, and I don't know where the lab is anyhow. Should go with Maria alone. Looked over at the odd others. There's no way of knowing for sure when she might become contagious. We shouldn't needlessly risk exposing more people to the infection. Knelt down to gather Maria in her arms. In that case, I should drive. New voice. Tatenu? Tatsuno was standing in the doorway. You... Achi's face went red with rage. Get that out of the way. You... Stood the man with the cane. Detective Tatsuno. Tatsuno. A name for the assassin. His name he felt like he heard somewhere before. Son of a bitch, what the hell are you doing here? Bowed his head profusely. I'm really sorry. You're sorry? Sorry, don't cut it, man. Not after you're trying to do to Tome. Don't expect you to forgive me. And I intend to turn myself in to be punished for my crimes, but before I do that, please, let me do what I can to help you. I think you helped enough. Grabbed Tatsuno by the collar and drew back his fist. We have to stop him, but Tatsuno held up a hand. No. It's alright, let him do as he pleases. Trace of the menacing expression the man had worn in their previous encounters. Scalp lowered his fist and released his hold on Tatsuno's collar. Now's not the time. Fine. Tomi's sister needs help, so we do need a driver right now. Make sure those two get to the lab and back safely. Don't make up for that punch I didn't give you just now. Thank you. I'm so sorry. Stepped forward. No. I'm the one who should be apologizing. I'm the one who got you caught up in this. Daisuke, we really didn't grow up to be very good people, did we? No. Guess not. Stared bleakly at each other, shoulders slumped. In the end, guess we were trying to run away from our pain. Yeah, didn't expect my own son to be the one to teach me that. Aji's turned out to be a fine young man. He's Katane's boy, after all. Guys! Get all sappy. You can get sappy all you want later. Dad, once this is all over, we're gonna see Suzune, okay? Sure. Unheartedly. Hold up. If these two take Maria to the lab, that leaves just the two of us to apprehend Alphard down at the Scramble. Is that gonna be enough? Bert's not gonna show up without a plan. The more people we have on our side, the better. Doubt we'd be able to get any help from the police. Good point. Hey, I'm here too. I'm going with you. I'll keep Hitomi safe. Look, good news, Kano. Now we have 3 people. Not a sardonic laugh. Kano frowned. Hachi, I appreciate the offer, but having 3 people instead of 2 won't make much of a difference. When you're not sure of the enemy's exact plan, you really need strength in numbers. You could set up a dragnet like the task force did this morning, that'd be ideal, but... Come on, a detective. Don't you have any idea what sort of approach this psycho might take? If I were Alphard, my biggest problem would be figuring out how to get away after I have taken Hitomi's blood. Planning to evolve the Yua virus. If, for instance, set up a device somewhere to spread the virus throughout the Shibuya that prevents us from taking action against him. She swallowed hard. This guy wanted to unleash a killer virus in Shibuya. If he succeeded, then the town Hachi had known and loved all his life would become a graveyard. It's only mere conjecture. Quite frankly, even I can only guess what he's going to do. His expression was grim. Strength in numbers, huh? So you're saying we absolutely need more people, is that it? Not just anyone mine. If it's not a group that meshes well, it'll hinder more than help. People who mesh well together, huh? This one, duh. You could ask SOS. Something he'd do, it was that. Selfish request, he knew that. Probably be furious with him, but Ashi would just have to deal with that. Even if his old pals wouldn't forgive him, even if they understood that they'd be helping to protect Shibuya, Sure, they'd step up and take action. After all, the whole point of this gang was that it was made out of people who loved their town. Give me a half hour. I'm gonna try and see if I can rustle up some people. You think you can do it? Not absurdly. Just wait here for me, okay? She gave him a worried smile. Alright, I'll be waiting. It'll be okay. Promise I'll bring back some help. Royal Elastics, that's... Is that a real brand? It might be. Knew where he needs to go, to Pool Hall in Harajuku. That was his old gang's main hangout. Running at chop speed, he could probably make it in about 10 minutes. Alright. Rushing out the door with a battle cry loud enough for Kano and the others to hear. Back inside the shop, Achi sped on his way. Let me play Kano's story a little bit more to get, in case like that's a... keep out that I need to clear. Tatsuno was standing in the doorway. Yep, okay. literally the next line after the initial jump. Okay. Alright. Achi was probably gonna get another keep out soon, which I would have to clear from Inarikawa though. Behemoth, back down at last. Escort Ken and Maria to the lab. Left 3 to try to apprehend Alphard, Kano, Stanley, and Achi. 3 people was a dicey prospect though, so Achi took it upon himself to head out and gather some backup. Got the car keys from Daisuke and helped Cannon pick Maria off the floor, which merely trace of blood-curdling expression the older detective had shown it when he was holding Maria at gunpoint. A man with a responsibility, the Tatsuno that Kano had always known. Are you sure you're okay doing this? You might get infected. That doesn't matter. Don't worry about me. All I care about now is helping you two if I can. He hesitated, glancing down at the unconscious girl he held. By the way, have Maria's memories come back? Tilted her head. Her memories? I suspect she took a blow to the head when she was abducted. When I ran into her earlier, she didn't even know her own name. She seemed like the same sister I've always known when she came in here. Good. Then her memory must have recovered. Shocked to hear that Maria had suffered amnesia, but explained why she hadn't contacted anyone after she'd been set free. Alright, I'll be back. Bring Maria, he and Cannon headed for the door. Detective Tatsuno called out and then paused, tongue-tied when Tatsuno stopped. So many things Kano wanted to say, but couldn't find the words for any of them. Once Maria is safe, I'll turn myself in. Kept his back turned. Words were like a dagger in Kano's heart. Once this was all over, Tatsuno would no longer be a detective, but a criminal. No alternative, but still, the realization hit him hard. Detective Tatsuno, stop your dittering, but never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect, ever. Snapped back to attention at Tatsuno's words. That was dictum number 1. The advice he had kicked off the whole dick diary. Not the one you should be worrying about right now. You need to save Maria Osawa's life and protect the people of Shibuya. Kano bit his lip. I don't think this is really a choice, but just in case, I think this will give us a bit more characterization then. Know that, but still wanted to express his regret at how things had turned out for his idol. Really are a terrible policeman, you know. Give him a bare hint of a smile, then headed out the room. Just kind of watched him go. Realized he really didn't have anything to say. Only 30 minutes remaining until the time when Alfred had told him he told me should be at the Scrambled. He needed to get ready for action. Is the surveillance camera system still up? Yes. Looks like what happened earlier was just a temporary hacking job. Will you help us? What do you mean? I'd like you to keep an eye on the Scramble for us. If anyone suspicious tries to get near Hitomi, let us know. Anyone suspicious? How will I know what's suspicious? Like that organ trapper who suggested you kidnap Hitomi, Mr. Endo. You fucking dumbass. It's possible that he might be Alfred. Would you be able to recognize his face? Yeah, don't think I could ever forget. Because of him that I... A moment later, several of the monitors switched over to feeds from around the Scramble. Alright. Sure how much of a help I can be, but let me at least try to atone for what I've done. Okay, and thank you. There was a keyboard, and soon all the monitors were focused on the Scramble and its surroundings. Just at the angle and zoom for each of the cameras, the whole area was under total surveillance. All they had to do was get their stakeout crew to the scene. Where did Achi go? Not totally sure, but I think he went to find some of his old friends. Sounded worried. Friends? Achi used to belong to a gang called SOS. Actually, he told me he was the one who formed the gang in the first place. What? Can I keep the shock from his voice? Achi was the founder of SOS? How bizarre that the two of them would wind up meeting each other this way. But I guess there was a big falling out between them, so... I think he went to try and win them back over. I didn't know anything good about SOS since Achi left them. If he had ended on bad terms between him and the gang, getting them to help might as well be a lost cause. Even if Achi was able to gather some people up, how much would Kano and the others be able to trust them? He'll be alright. I'm sure Achi will bring back some of his old friends. When he does bring them, I'm sure he'll choose people we can count on. You really trust him, don't you? Yeah. No blush came to her cheeks. Alright, then I'll trust him too. Take about 10 minutes to get from Endo Electronics to the Scramble. Turn to Stanley. Let's plan to head out by 6:10, or 6:50. Gave no reply. Was drawn to the edge of the room where he stood lost in thought, his expression uneasy. Leave him alone for a bit. Sheet of paper from one of the desks, he began drafting a plan for positioning Achi's reinforcements around the Scramble. There you go. Drawn up a little map of the optimal places to deploy the team. Included positions for as many as 20 people Achi may bring back. Kano. Turn around, surprised to find Stanley right behind him all of a sudden. Looked haggard. Something matter. Need to go to Scramble without me. What? Where's this coming from all of a sudden? Don't ask me to explain. Something else has come up and I have to see to it. Stanley's getting his own route. Come on, man. Sweat beaded on Stanley's brow. Whatever had happened, Kano had no doubt it was something major. Certainly it had something to do with Alfred. Stanley. I feel like this is the one that would unlock his route. I understand. Do what you have to and come back soon. Sorry, I wish I could tell you more. It's alright, I'll find a way to get by. Vague idea what Stanley was up to. Telling him to keep things hidden even from his own allies in order to keep Alfred in the dark. At least that was Kano's guessed. Yes. There's no ordinary opponent they were up against. Keeping secrets among friends wasn't necessarily a bad call. Promise me one thing. What's that? Once this is all over, you'll go have a beer with me. Sure. Alright. Can't help but smile. That's a promise. Promise these two made just now mirrors another made by a certain pair of brothers in the past. Once this is all tidy up, I'm gonna need a drink. Let's you and me have a beer together. That's what the younger brother said, and the older brother still feels the pain of that promise going unfulfilled. Hell yeah. What do you mean I can't jump to you? I feel like I should be able to. What do you mean? What do you mean? Man. With that, Stanley hurried out of the workroom. Why can't I jump to you, though? I want to jump to you. I want to see your kick-ass story, Mr. Jack Stanley. God damn it. It's coming up on 6:50. To head for the scramble. So let him return. I'm gonna head out soon. Said 6:50. There's still 2 more minutes to go. Shared Mitomi's fervent hope that the reinforcements would come, but not her confidence. But he didn't reappear. Kano would be left to protect Hitomi all by himself and try to apprehend Alphard as well. Would he be able to pull it off if it came to that? These are tough choices. These are tough choices. I don't know. Maybe we'll just meet Achi at the scramble. I don't know. Maybe he told me he has like his contact info. Maybe.
Meet him there.
Meet him there? I guess. Okay. Just have to trust himself to see things through on his own. He decided to head to the scramble to tell me right away. So it wasn't about whether he could or couldn't. He would do it. He had to do it. There's no time for doubt anymore. Tell me, I don't like having to do this, but can't wait any longer. She gave a tiny reluctant nod. Keep out. Okay. Back to Achidan. Sped on his way. Traffic on Dugansaga was a near standstill. Some sort of major accident. Wait, I want to check something real quick. This is at 6:20. When did Minarikawa come across the 6:10-ish, I think, yeah. So it's probably the van with the dry ice machine. Gotta be kidding me. What do you mean no trains are stopping at Shibuya? This guy was red in the face. This will probably give more information, but I think they're trying to like quarantine Shibuya, but it's fine. Calm down, old man. Kept on running. Time is of the essence. Arrived at SOS's hideout. 2 men standing by the door are lookouts. Kid whose so-called buddies had tried to shake him down earlier that afternoon. Roused himself as Achi approached. He sees Susumu. No can do, he's in the middle of something right now. Made no move to let him through. Urge of resentment towards Susumu. He's still been with SOS, he'd never try to post members on guard duty like they were low-ranking Yakuza thugs. Diplomacy or violence? Diplomacy or violence? Diplomacy. Please, I need to see him. It's important. Just tell him Achi's here, he'll make an exception. Which of his name, the two lookouts exchange glances. Go ask him. Did he always stick you on guard duty? Didn't reply. Back when I ran SOS, we never needed anyone on lookout. Just a bunch of guys who love Shibuya and had a fun time hanging out with each other. That's all it was, really. It's not Susumu's fault that SOS changed. Lately it's Kiryu who's been driving things. Kiryu. Yeah, that guy. Called his earlier run-in with him. The guy was an arrogant bully. Shitty Kiryu. Kiryu's planning to steal Susumu's throne. What for? A nervous look at the door before hurriedly continuing. He's trying to expand SOS's influence. Got a lot of people on his side. Right now the gang is kind of split into two factions. Susumu's guys and Kiryu's guys. Finally, Achi understood what was going on. Acting so weird because they were all caught up in some kind of internal struggle. Kiryu goes around recruiting new followers by force, and if he doesn't like you, he dishes out punishment. But alone, he sent 8 people to the hospital. SOS was a total mess, man. This plan might not work after all. Just appeal to Kiryu's guys, or not Kiryu's, Susumu's guys. It'll stink a sinking sense of despair. If SOS was ravaged with infighting, it was doubtful they'd heed the dangerous requests he had for them. Even still, I want to be part of this gang. Peered at him in surprise. Why? They shake you down for due, stick you on guard duty? That's not a decent way to treat someone. Look up to Susumu. Treats me like he would anyone else, even though I'm way down at the bottom. And it's not just me. Susumu always puts the members of the gang before himself. That's why I want to stick with SOS. Aha! So that's it, huh? Susumu really been trying his best. Members of SOS, some of them at least, admired him for it and stuck by him. Thanks. Give him a dubious look. I know if Susumu would help enough or not, but it was still worth putting their disagreements aside in order to ask. Your lookout returned. It says, come on in. Strode inside. Keep out? Yeah. How do I get to Jack Stanley's story, though? That's what I want to know. I want to see what he's up to. I want to see what this badass is up to. Your lookout returned. Alright. Scent of alcohol and cigarettes washed over him, sat on the sofa at the far end of the bar. Achi used to sit back in the day. What do you want? Got down on his hands and knees. What are you doing down there? What the hell is this all about? Need people to bring a guy down. I'm here to ask for your help. Listening to an uproar, peals of mocking laughter rang in Achi's ears. Now I have no right to ask you this. Please, I really need your help. Some guy who? He's an international terrorist trying to get his hands on some wonder drug for a killer virus. If we don't catch him, someone I know is going to die. That's not all. He might try to unleash the killer virus here in the city. Burst out laughing. This is some kind of joke? You're right in the head there, Achi. All this lead unleashes another storm of mockery. Continue for some time. Grit his teeth and stared up at Susumu. Said nothing. He endured the ridicule and simply stared up at Susumu. As patiently as he could, he waited for Susumu to give the proverbial nod. Laughter subsided, and Susumu crouched down and got into Achi's face. That's how you go out asking someone a favor? Growled menacingly. If you have a problem with me kowtowing like this, I can apologize some other way all you want, but don't you care that I just told you Shibuya is in danger? Face it, Susumu. Isn't Shibuya the reason everyone here hangs out with each other? If you're telling me you don't want to keep our town safe, then I won't ask you guys for anything again. I withdraw my request. Two glared into each other's eyes. An odd man stepped in between them. Is there a point to jumping here? Is this just for context? It's not gonna go past the end or anything, I don't think. I don't think so, yeah. There's no, like, epilogue to Minarakawa's story or anything. Sounds like you got an interesting story. Mind letting me hear it too? You again, didn't you already get your interview? I think the grovels here might be telling the truth. All seriousness, lines up with information I have. He grovels. You got a second? Name's not Grovels, it's Achi. Norimi Norikawa, magazine reporter. I know a bit about the stuff you were saying just now. The clear virus you mentioned is called the UA virus. That wonder drug is an antiviral medication. And the person you know who might die is Maria Osawa. Am I right? I was too shocked for words. How do you know all that? Nortaman turned to the SOS leader, Susumu. Something really is going down in Shibuya. What are you gonna do about it, boss? Bit his lip. Looked pretty conflicted. Sounds good to me. Let's give him a hand. Where the voice had come from is Kiryu. You shut up. Break out of your rut, old man. Achi here's right. To keeping our beloved Shibuya safe, what SOS does. Slipped an arm around Achi's shoulders. This guy feels very disingenuous. No likey. You okay with that, Achi? Me going against Susumu's orders to help you out. Pulled back a broad, unsettling grin. First, we have unfinished business, you and I. Willing to lend a hand even though you ditched the gang and all. But first, we gotta settle our score. Here and now. Understand, don't you? Yeah, you're right. Grin hungrily. It's guillotine time! Started an eager clamor at Kiryu's pronouncement. Achi was grabbed from all sides and hoisted up onto a pool table. A dozen young men held down his arms and legs, positioning him so his head jutted out past the table's edge. Brought out a steel pipe nearly a meter long, caked liberally with dried blood. Guillotine? You're gonna kill him, oh my god. Men of Kiryu's faction pumped their fists in the air, chanting madly, licked his lips as if drunk off their cheers. Sami Norikawa was speaking emphatically to Susumu. Looked like the reporter was trying to talk some sense into the SOS leader. Please. Today's my lucky day. I get to take the head of SOS's original head. Lifted his neck up to peer at him. The point is they're taking my head right now. My, you don't get it, do ya? I send you to the hospital, everyone in Shibuya is going to know my name. Once I get that big-ass sign over my head, I'll be able to unite this town under my banner in one fell swoop. And that's all the more reason for you to do as I'm asking. If you want to unite Shibuya, you have to protect it first. But if you think you need to take my head to do that, then go right ahead. Even if these guys were all like Kiryu, if this many of them actually showed up at the scramble, they'd be able to do more for it than Achi could hope to by himself. So my goal was to capture Alphard. Achi didn't care how they made that happen. Just sorry he couldn't get to see it through, to protect Hitomi to the very end. Okay then, gloves are coming off. Do it. Just make sure you keep your promise. It's like the tip of his tongue from his mouth like a snake. Dumbass, I didn't promise you nothing. Limbs were pinned down too forcefully for him to have any hope of avoiding what was to come. Oh? Steel pipe never struck home. So when I was about to smash into Achi's head, Susumu grabbed a hold of it. Hell you doing? Enough of this crap, Kiryu. Took the pipe from Kiryu's grasp and tossed it onto the floor. Stood frozen in surprise, a vein pulsed angrily in his forehead. He eyes too. Let him go. Toughs holding Achi down cautiously took their hands away. A red-faced cry of rage. Got unfinished business. Helped Achi slide off the table. Every man gets to make one request in his life that cannot be denied. Do you remember saying that? There are up some bitter memories within Achi. Yeah. I remember. You didn't grant me my request. Guess not. So I'm gonna heed yours, no questions asked. Susumu, you are? That'll make me the better man. Finally. You should unclasp Susumu's hand in his. Bros. Quite the guy. Cracked a tiny grin. Sort of smile Achi had seen all the time back when he ran with SOS. Ow. Staggered dropped to the floor, falling too fast to even cry out. Ugh. Snatched the steel pipe back from the floor, striking Susumu from behind once his back was turned. To hell with this. Doesn't belong to you guys, not anymore, I won't allow it. Okay, this guy's an asshole. Achi didn't flinch. Doesn't belong to anyone. It's not mine. It's not Susumu's, and it ain't sure as hell ain't yours. It's a bunch of friends hanging out and having a good time. It's the only reason we get together. Nothing more, nothing less. Hey, you guys. Do you all get together because someone told you to assemble? Do you get together to follow someone's orders? No, you don't. Of course you don't. See the young men who surrounded him exchanging glances. They could tell that his words rang true. Kiryu saw it too, and only made him more and more agitated. Shut up. Giving the steel pipe a mighty swing, dodged the attack by a mere hair. If it connected, the blow might as well knocked his head clean off. Quickly backed away. All you do is run. Crashed onto the tall tarp, da-da-da. Who owns this bar? Who works here? Can't, like, just belong to SOS. They're just like a bunch of teenagers. They would not own a bar. What's the matter, Achi? To the pool table, sending balls scattering across the floor. Some of them collided with Susumu. Can aim at Susumu's head. Rich Pappy owns it, probably. Shifted his weight and swung the steel pipe at Achi's temple. Nice. Fast kick with his right leg. Connected with his shin, but it was Kiryu who went reeling off balance. Karate bitch. Pivoted and put all his might into a straight right to Kiryu's jaw. Struck home, snapped back, and crumbled to the floor. Only a hush of wind-dropped breath. Then the bar erupted into a wild clamor that practically shook the entire building. Fixed on Achi, marveling at what they had just seen go down. Sounds like folks were hoping for a little more of a fight. You're right. I'll say. As my shoulder took the brunt of the blow. Kiryu's faction rushed their unconscious leader's side. Steely glaring, they gathered up Kiryu and dragged him out of the bar. Good. Didn't go too far here, did I? Is this gonna cause trouble for you? Nah. Figured Kiryu would pull something like this eventually. Just a question of when. Right. Sure, he's gonna go gather up his own bunch after this. Probably wind up butting heads again. And sound especially eager for that fight, but didn't sound especially afraid of it either. Still worried about a few things, but his friend has clearly grown as a leader. Not the story about you need some manpower. Will the guys here be enough? 30? Yeah, 30 gang members still in the bar. Looked each of them in the eye in turn. Some you knew from back in the day, while others were fresh faces. I was born and raised in this town. Fun with the friends I've met here, and this has always been a great place to have a good time. Today, right here in this town, I met someone who's very special to me. And I know this doesn't involve the rest of you, but I'm willing to protect her. Doesn't do a great job of getting to the point, but the members of SOS listen quietly. So it's like, only a grade schooler who didn't know the answer to a difficult question. Fussed with his hair and frowned sheepishly. Not sure how to really put this. Shibuya isn't a special town to me because of getting to meet people like that. Maybe. No. I mean, it's like that for you guys too. Don't you love Shibuya? So help me help this town. I want to protect this girl who means so much to me, and a city that means so much to me as well. Know my answer. Listen up, everyone. SOS's original founder is back in action. He needs our help, and I, for one, am ready to follow him into battle. Alright. I don't know how long that took, though. Oh, okay. I guess they waited for... They waited for Achi and Dian after all. I don't like having to do this, but... I'm just a little nervous. Got a right to be nervous. Alfred was after the antiviral she had in her bloodstream. Once he had it, he told me it would be a liability he'd want to dispose of. And now? The only person who could keep her safe was Kano. Try to look confident, please. Just try to relax. I'll protect you with my life if I have to. Boys are back in town. So you tell me it's my job. Oh. I don't think we've actually heard this music during the story at all. Only during the inter-hour cutscene. Such a neat little track. Achi, you're back. Said I'd see you sort of very end, didn't I? Yeah, you did. He's back at Achi with grateful reassurance. Ahem. Cursed her softly, but Achi and Itomi continued to stare earnestly at each other. Tough-looking young man standing behind Achi spoke up. Got 30. Will that be enough? Yeah, that'll be fine. Importantly, have you heard what we'll be doing yet? Catch the bad guy, keep Shibuya safe. Same old thing we always do. Flashed a grin. You got it. I'll be counting on you then. 30-odd people at their disposal to be able to encircle the meeting area no problem. Preparations were all set. Time to confront Alfred at last. Alright, detective, let's do this. Bum 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 bum. 9 minutes later, 6:59 p.m. Kano and the others were in position around the scramble. The subtle tip of the second hand was like a sharp prod to Kano's nerves. His whole body was stiff with tension. Could not let themselves fail. There's too much at stake. Here, now, hundreds of thousands of lives were on the line. Should be on lockdown. The area around the scramble had been seized by panic, and there have been multiple traffic collisions. Sidewalks were crowded with scared people. Overturned cars and abandoned motorcycles clogged the streets. Amidst the chaos, emergency vehicles sped by at furious speeds. But the fire and emergency personnel and even the police were short-handed. And the whole Shibuya had begun to look like a war zone. And roads were blocked to normal traffic, and the trains weren't stopping at the stations. In effect, the city was a state of complete shutdown. Wait, why? Why? I want... Is it because we're going against orders? And I don't know, maybe the police ordered basically a blockade and such? Maybe. 6:59 p.m. and 10 seconds. 11, 12, 13, 14. Scarcely remembered to breathe. In front of the statue of Hachiko. She wasn't carrying an attached case this time, but the moment was otherwise a strange mirror of the stakeout at 10 o'clock that morning. Something's gonna happen. They're having a video cutscene for this, so I feel like something is about to happen. She looked terrified. Couldn't blame her. We're after some case full of money this time. This time they're out for blood. Her blood. Slowly did a slow scan of the area. Achi was standing not too far away. His companions were strewn about here and there, carrying on as normal. In Shibuya, those guys fit right in with the crowd. They had the area around Hitomi completely surrounded. Looked at his watch. 6:59, 35 seconds. 36, 37, 38, 39. Forced himself to take several deep breaths. Focused on the sound of his own heartbeat and exhaled until all the breath was expelled from his lungs. And all started. Kano's cell phone rang. I got him. It was Daisuke. The organ trafficker who devised the kidnapping. It was him. Where is he? Is he close by? Got him on camera. He's on the other side of the intersection. There's so many people that it was hard to tell who was or wasn't suspicious. Can you describe him? Tall foreign guy. The one wearing glasses. Tall foreigner? Drifted over to the crowd. Is it the teacher? Oh my god. Thought you were kind of sus. There he was. As he got closer, Kano's eyes went wide. This man was someone he'd met before. Leyland Palmer, lecturer from the English department at Hitomi and Maria's school. Is he Alphard? Walking right toward Hitomi. Didn't seem to notice him yet. Kano glanced back at his wristwatch. It was 7 p.m. on the dot. Hitomi realized Palmer was approaching her. She was too stunned to react. Directly up to her, the corner of his mouth curling into a smile. Hello, Hitomi, he said in English. How are you doing? Professor Palmer? What are you doing here? He came out in an anxious squeak. Why, I'm here to take your blood, of course. Man. Time he spoke in Japanese and with an easy fluency totally different from his usual manner of speech. I'm the one who injected you with the Ua virus. I've been waiting for so long for the opportunity to arise. It's been quite agonizing, you know, spending 6 months and more pretending to be a mild-mannered English lecturer. Professor, you're Alphard, aren't you? Let's get down to business, shall we? Neither of us have much time. Stiffened. Tell me the laboratory password, after I have your blood. It'll only take a few seconds. Got a device here that will make the extraction quite simple. No way. The password first. To violate the terms we've already negotiated. Alright. Why don't you negotiate with Cannon instead? Cannon. Dialed. Cannon did not pick up. What's going on? Come on, Cannon. Increasingly anxious as he watched the pair stare at the phone. Was the right move here? To keep waiting. I think Cannon, there's supposed to be like two new routes this time block. Jack Stanley is definitely the one. I think Cannon is the other. Maybe there'll be a jump. Cannon never answered. Something happened to her in Tatano. To take what I came here for. Freeze. Drew his gun and trained it on the criminal. Nearby pedestrians scattered in fear. She darted in to protect Hitomi. Let's play Achi's story up to that then. In case it's another keep out. Raise his own spirits unexpectedly high, palpable sense of accomplishment. Alright, detective, let's do this. What's the matter? What's the matter with what? You look pretty pale. Peered good and hard into his face. Do I know? You tired or something? I mean, you've kind of been going all out all day long, after all. It's nothing. Just a little hungry. Don't worry about me or Alfred either, okay? Keep you safe, Hitomi. Gave a tiny nod. Give it to me. Alfred's got nothing on this guy. That is some very visible sweat on your brow, though. Thumped his chest in a display of bravado, but he could feel the sweat beating on his brow. Took his place at the location specified by the battle plan and Kano had drawn up. Tomi was only a few meters away. Whatever happened, he was in a good position to shield her from harm. 3 minutes left until the appointed rendezvous. Wonder what sort of person was going to show up. We couldn't scan the crowd too much. You need to act naturally as possible so Alfred wouldn't be suspicious. Risked a glance over at Hitomi. Maybe now wasn't the time for admiring, but he couldn't help but think about how cute she looked. Seeing her there felt similar to when he'd first seen her that morning in the very same spot. The difference was that this time it wasn't just Hitomi's good looks that made him find her so attractive. I've spent only a few hours together, but in that time he learned excuse me. They might have only spent a few hours together, but in that time he'd learned a lot about her as a person. He knew what was important to her, what her worries were, her wants and desires. What a kind of hearted person she was. Called what happened back in the workroom. Even though her own life had been in danger all day, he told me she shed tears for his father and sister. She really understood people's grief and suffering. What do I do if I can't protect someone as good as her? Machi muttered under his breath, clutching his right leg. Shin was throbbing wickedly where the pipe had smashed against it. Ow. Yeah. I don't keep walking so far, but any intense fighting in the leg might just give out. But he couldn't let himself worry about that now. If it came down to it, he'd be a human shield to protect Hitomi if he had to. Looked at his watch. 1 minute to go. Glancing at it, Hitomi saw her eyes widen in surprise. Followed her gaze across the plaza. Spotted a tall white man approaching. Alright, yep. Okay. Let me get back to that jump then. Oh, it's already 7 o'clock in game. Okay. Well, they mentioned it. Well, yeah, they said it was 7 o'clock now several times. Was this guy Alfard? The man arrived in front of Hitomi and began speaking to her. Tormi, Maria, even Achi's father. This must be the guy who was responsible for everything. Pressing urge to flat at him right there then and there. Couldn't blow his cover until Kano gave the signal. Expressing his raw emotions, he readied himself for action. I feel like I'm like at the end of like what game was it? Catherine. Or it's like you make a bunch of like moral decisions throughout the game and then like you have like a bunch of questions right at the end that like determine what ending you get. Somehow this feels like that. I don't think that that's really anything here though. Protecting Hitomi has to come first. I can't let anything happen to her. Why hasn't it happened yet? Why hasn't Kano given the signal? Freeze. Dashed for Hitomi as fast as he could, cut in between Hitomi and Alfred, quickly pulling Hitomi out of danger. Hitomi, call Cannon again. She brought out her cell phone and dialed the number. No answer. Some kind of trouble on Cannon's end. What's going on with the lab party? Tried calling several more times. Strange files from the attached case he brought. Terrorist trump card then. Couldn't hear the specifics, but tensions were clearly running high. Hold on. I'm gonna be switching between these two a lot, it feels like, here in a second. So, you're breaking the terms we agreed upon then. I'll negotiate with terrorist. Tell me, call Cannon again. Attached case he was carrying, one move and I shoot. Small glass vessels from within the case. It's probably the virus, right? Shoot me. Maybe you don't mind just getting scattered about. Is that? Surely you don't need me to explain. Stanley was right. Alfred had weaponized the virus. Seal's horror kind of tried to sound defiant. This is stating the obvious. This is asking him to prove what that is. And I don't like it. I don't even know that's real. It's all a bluff. These all could be fake. Would you care to test that theory? Flashed a coy smile, holding out a fistful of vials. He began to tilt them slowly back and forth, letting them clink against each other. They were fake. Well, maybe they were real. Couldn't quite decide. Couldn't take any rash action if there was even a possibility these were the real thing. Did you come here to carry out a suicide attack, Mr. Alfard? Hardly. I have no desire to die here. All I want is to get a little of this girl's blood and then go quietly on my way. All depends on you, doesn't it? Overflowing with confidence. Shake the feeling that something was off here. Something about this man's demeanor hinted at something. What will it be? Condemn the people of Shibuya to death. Lowered his gun. Resumed his stroll towards Hitomi. Stood frozen on the spot. Susumu. Come from Achi. Oh, I'm gonna be switching between these two a lot. Maybe I should just play until another keep out or something. Oh, this wasn't a keep out. Maybe I'll just play until I get another keep out, because they're probably gonna do that again. Achi? Boys are in town. Tough luck, pal. Turns out we're not actually innocent bystanders. Completely surrounded. Give them tell us the password now. Just for the record, we ain't scared of no virus. Surrounded. Really don't look like police. You're right about that. Just take a look. Got a bunch of people who love Shibuya more than their own lives in order to take your ass down. There's no escape. You've lost. Lost? Me? Sure doesn't look like you're gonna get away. See, it appears our negotiations are at a close. High and mighty-ack. Hey, easy now. Gonna risk the scuffle sending the virus crashing to the ground. What a shame. Watching dismay as his hand shot up, sailed upwards against the backdrop of the evening sky. Look out. Catch him, catch him, catch him! Sore! Oh. What happened? What happened? A tremendous blast blew Kano off his feet. He crashed into the pavement, searing pain shot through his entire body. He knew at once that a bomb had gone off, but why? Didn't make any sense. No intention of carrying out a suicidal terror attack. I was certain of that. If that had been his intent, he could have done so at any time without going through the trouble of putting on this whole charade. Was there some reason this guy would blow himself up under these circumstances at this specific moment? As he lay dying, Kano had a thought. Could it be? Had Stanley not come to the scramble because he knew this was going to happen? Stanley, how do I get the fuck to your route? God frick. Mysterious explosion. Did I miss something? Did I miss another choice that unlocks his route? Wait, it started at what, 8? Or here, okay. There's a jump here. I can't Yeah, I can't jump from here. Okay. What happens if I change my choice here then? If I change my choice here, I really hope it doesn't, like, overwrite any of the other choices that I have, that I made after this. Tell me, we're past the point of keeping secrets. It's too late to get all tight-lipped about it now. Sorry, I wish I could tell you more. Felt the need to keep that. Scano's desk. Do what you have to and come back soon. And then that's all the same. Let me go back to the other choice then. Stanley, how do I open your route? What other choices can I make? Let me try going back to Achi's story then. Hold on. Thing is, I've noticed so far is that the bad ends in this story don't have any hints associated with them. Don't look like police. You're right about that, bitch. Seems so confident, didn't seem right. Just need to grab the guy and be done with. Sailing high into the air, catch him, catch him, catch him. I think they're actually they might be like little bombs instead. This world was engulfed in an eerie silence. As of time, it stopped. Crumpled on the pavement, the one thing that's still ringing in his ears was a tinkling of glass as countless vials smashed on the concrete. Another mysterious explosion. So what do I do in order to get past it? Just gonna like look around and see if I can find any other jumps or anything. Detective Tatano, where the older man disappeared. Well, this is different. Careful out there. Left the workroom. Did that do anything? Let me check something. That's still blocked. Let me try the other choice then. Silent salute. Breach of protocol to salute while in plain clothes and without his cap. This way he had to let Tatano know how he felt. Leave the rest to you. Oh, it's Tatano who gets the route. Okay. He's orange. Kyozo Tatano gingerly flexes his right elbow. Still a little sore, but it shouldn't interfere with his ability to drive. Wait, what time is this? 8:05, okay. Or not 8:05, 6:05. Does that hurt? No, I'm alright. Good thing I didn't kill you. Gotta thank that younger detective. You hadn't stopped me, you wouldn't be here right now. Is that right? Direct Kano. I was talking to Achi and the others about something. Last time Tatsuno had seen Achi had been back at Kotane's wake. Felt a strong urge of emotion seeing how the boy had grown into a fine young man. Sure you don't mind driving? Kanon's voice snapped Tatsuno back into the moment. Wouldn't be a problem. Like when she attacked him on that rooftop, she moved too quickly for him to even get a glimpse of her face. Now he's able to get a good look at her. He's shocked at how young she looked. It's cold gleam in her... It's so loud. Cold gleam in her eyes. Glitter of awareness with no trace of emotion behind it whatsoever. His long career as a detective, Katano had seen eyes like that before. It's a look he knew well. The look of someone who had killed, and had done so many times. So sorry about this. Please, look after my sister. She bowed deeply. No, I'm the one who should apologize. Tatsuno would like to go on, to say that helping now was the least he could do to atone for what he'd done earlier, but he stopped himself there. I think he'd say to Tomi Osawa could possibly earn her forgiveness. Silently, Tatsuno lowered his head. Subsequent actions would have to make up for his crimes. Yet I hoped this was possible. Canon, you look after my sister too. Bowed once more. You two know each other. Looked at the two girls in surprise. Canon is my sister's friend. Just met her for the first time today. What strange series of events could have transpired for Maria and Canon to wind up as friends? A prickle of curiosity, but now is not time for that conversation. Gotta fetch his car keys. Know where it's parked, yeah? See him back in the day? That's right. Where we always hung out with Katoni back in grade school. Hit with a surge of childhood memories. The sky was a piercing blue. Droning of cicadas echoed in his ears. A refreshing breeze brought intermittent respite from the heat. During summer vacation, they spent their days here in the parking lot behind Daisuke's house. As Tatsuno and Daisuke played near the stairs at the side of the lot, the blazing sun beating down on them, Katone would always come along with some iced barley tea for them. Nice to see you can drink up theirs the fastest. Savor it, man. Okay. Cold and fragrant tea flowed down their welcoming throats. It's Tatsuno who would finish first. Daisuke often wound up choking and spitting his out. Katone would flash him a motherly and sympathetic smile. Turned back at her sheepishly and fussed with his hair. Nearly 40 years ago, but Tatsuno could envision their smiles as vividly now as ever. They were his only fond memories of his childhood. Took the keys from Daisuke, clutching them firmly in his fist. Alright, we'll be back. Lifted Maria up, with Canon supporting her on the other side, began to head for the door. Kano called out to him. Detective Tatsuno. A look of sadness on the younger man's face. Don't let yourself become a detective like me. Tatsuno had the words right on the tip of his tongue, but he swallowed them back down. Seemed petty to trivialize the aspirations Kano had held on for so long. Once Maria's safe, I'll turn myself in. Made sure Maria got to the laboratory, he would cease being a detective and would simply be a criminal. Charge of plotting to commit the crime of murder carries a prison term with labor of not more than 2 years. Despite the failures that had brought him to this position, nothing he had set up until now had been a lie. That much he could be proud. Never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect. Ever. At least try to be the detective Kano had so admired until the very end. Tatsuno left the room. Kano saluted him crisply. Ordinarily, a detective wouldn't salute in plain clothes or without his cap. The breach of etiquette just showed all the more clearly how Kano felt. If Tatsuno hadn't been holding Maria up, he would have returned the gesture. Leaving Endo Electronics, Tatsuno and Canon carried Maria up a hectic Dogen saga. Less than a minute away by foot, they found their way blocked by an inveritable wall of people. It's a riot squad with Kuze at the head. Police squad that carries out security and control activities in order to maintain or restore public order in event of an emergency. Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department has 9 riot police units along with support vehicle unit for a total of 10 such squads. These also comprise teams that carry out certain specific functions such as the Explosive Ordnance Division and Chemical Defense Unit. Dr. Kuze, Tatsuno, what are you planning on doing with that girl? What are you planning on doing with her? I informed Kano she's to be put under quarantine. If she's allowed to remain frail, Shibuya will be in danger. Take a step forward. I'm about to murder some policemen. Tatsuno could sense that she was about to move in for the kill. Easy now. Wait. Skilled as Cannon was, she was no match for an entire armed police squad. You wanna bet? I'm not gonna let them take all of them on. I'm just gonna take the man in charge hostage. Capture Kuze and then run off? It could work. During the time limit they were facing, he knew that they had to find some way to force their way through here. Already still had to go to reach the laboratory. He wanted to avoid direct conflict as much as possible. Give me 1 minute. No, 30 seconds. Stared at Kuze. Two had known each other since their rookie days. Kuze, tell me. What is it that you believe in? Do I believe in? Aren't you always the one who said that you need to put fate in your subordinates no matter what? Yes, that's right. Wavered ever so slightly. Put your fate in me. No, put your fate in Kano. Kano? Maria Osawa will let us save Shibuya. He's doing everything he can to make that happen. That sounds like Kano, right? I was thinking in such simple terms. Usually the simple answer is the right one, sir. People like you and me tend to overthink things. We make them more complicated than they need to be. Just consider for a moment. Will putting Maria Osawa under quarantine clear up this case? Won't. So long as we don't know what she was infected with, how she was infected with the virus, we can't rule out the possibility that other people have been infected as well. I have his eyes locked on Kuze. Kuze. Right now, what we need to do more than anything is get our hands on that antiviral drug. We need to be helping Kano. Please, sir. Shook his head. No, buddy, come on, I can't do that. Can't understand the position I'm in. Squeaking to his childish register, Kano narrowed her eyes. What's this guy's deal? Well, it's hard to explain, but when his voice gets like that, it means... He's not... I don't think he's serious. He's excited, really. He's confused. Run. Didn't get the chance to... Oh? Pained yelp. Collapse onto the pavement. Ow. Hurts. It hurts. I've been infected with the virus too? Oh, Kuze! Kuze, oh. That smart bastard, okay. Kuze secretly flashed him a knowing wink. That was a terrible performance. Yeah, tour de force as far as I'm concerned. Let's go. Gave his boss a nod of respect. Slipping past the riot squad, he and Cannon headed for the parking lot, ready to chase after them. Don't follow them, everyone stay back. If you get too close to Maria Osawa, you'll be infected as well. Thanks, Kuze. Threading through some narrow alleyways, they arrived at the parking lot. Changed since Tatsuno's youth, but some of the old air of nostalgia still lingered. There it is. The Endomobile. Nice. Led Maria on the back seat, apparently unconscious. They quit gas and sped off. How far to the lab? Normally it'd take about 15 minutes, but with this traffic it's hard to say. Stop and go at Dogen Saga, taking the side streets as he headed towards Shibuya Station. Barricade. As he had re-emerged on the main thoroughfare, however, he spotted a checkpoint up the head. Barricades and armored vehicles were blocking the road. Scale of security efforts showed just how grave the situation truly was. Hit the brakes. What do we do? Spoke without taking her eyes off the barricade ahead. Oh, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Time is of the essence, so I think we just gotta refuge in Odyssey here. Just have to plow on through. Get in the back seat. Why? We need to hold on to Maria so she doesn't fall. You got it. It's do or die. Patrol car came roaring out on a nearby side road. Cut in front of the minivan, turning to head right towards the roadblock. Crashing into a barricade, it plowed on through, not stopping until it slewed up on the curve beyond. Oh. It's a police car. Enough space for another vehicle to slip in through its wake. Here goes. Who in the world had been driving that cruiser? Picked up as he sped onward. Were you able to break through safely? Kajiura? Oh, my buddies. Everyone is here. Tatsuno thought he was at the Sawa residence. The patrol car just now, was that you? Call came in from Task Force HQ saying that Kano had found Maria. I figured maybe Kano was planning to take her to Koshi Pharmaceutical, and so I thought he need to make his way through one of the checkpoints here, but in fact that was you, Detective Tatsuno. That was quite unexpected. What a weak chuckle. Kajiwara, are you hurt? Oh, that's bad, actually. Don't worry about me. Just please help Maria. I made a promise to her father that I'd save his daughter no matter what. Man. You better survive this, Kajiwara. You are such a cool man with your bananas. Oh, man. Oh, man. Understood. I'll keep that promise for you, then. Thank you. Rushed headlong through that barricade. There's no way he'd come out of that uninjured. I'm sorry, Kajiwara. Thank you. His lip then stepped hard on the gas again. Keep out. Who would I jump? Ooh. Wait. Oh, Kano and Achi stories have changed then. Like, can I no, I cannot skip. Okay. Remained for a long time at attention, his fingertips pressed to his temple. Squeezed his eyes shut, but tears he'd been holding back poured down his cheeks. And then we're still at that bad end. I wonder if I can jump from Tatsuno. I wonder if I can jump from Stanley now. I can, nice. This is all I wanted. Is gray, I guess? Okay. His character color is gray. 6:00 p.m. Contacted the Motley team at Ando Electronics and the situation had immediately deteriorated. But the new developments have also provided them with one big chance. Chance that Alfred might appear in person long last. He did fine. Set his hand on Kano's shoulder. A smile came to the detective's face. Paz unexpectedly moved. For that one moment he saw Kano in the image of his younger brother, Frank. Jack, you have to get everyone to a safe place right away. Frank's nervous shout echoed through the hotel lobby. Younger brother was a member of the bomb and arson squad. Oh. Subsection of the Chicago Police Department, Bureau of Investigative Services, that handles investigation of bomb and arson related cases. Okay. This was 2 years ago. CIA had obtained intel that Alfred was targeting a high-class hotel in Chicago for a terror attack. Searched the hotel interior and discovered the bomb set inside a large planter. Saw the explosive, his expression grew grim. The detonation trigger is set in the worst possible place. It's gonna be a bastard to remove it. You need to get out here too, Frank. I can figure out how this thing is set up so the disposal unit knows what to do when they get here. I'll be alright. You'll probably see it from back there. See the small explosive from where he stood, held in place by several screws. Take down past the 30-minute mark. So plenty of time for the disposal guys to get here. I need you to help finish evacuating the building. There are a lot of people who haven't gotten out yet. From a cold and logical perspective, Frank was right. He had a job to do, and if Stanley listened to his personal feelings and tried to usher his brother out of there, a lot of innocent people might die. Wait, what was... okay. Alright. I understand. If something has some dry ice, we could just freeze this thing. Ooh. Ooh. I see. Okay. That's good to know. That is very good to know. Grandma says he eyed the bomb. Dry ice, huh? I don't suppose ice cream would do the trick. That'd be a waste of ice cream. You'd be better off just eating it. This is some very casual conversation, considering there's a bomb right there. Even dry ice would be a long shot in place of actual liquid nitrogen. Looked at one another, and for a moment the tension dissolved into laughter. Alright, I'll be right back. Jack, this is all tidied up. I'm gonna need a drink. Let you and me have beer together. Sure, you got it. And then he died. Headed for the hotel lobby, which was still overflowing with guests. Made the right choice here. Gave Kano a thump on the back, and the detective cracked a tiny grin. What about my choices, though? Debating his own next move, Stanley stepped away from the others and took out his cell phone. He made a call to his superior, Gordon. Ramsey, no. Raymond, no. It's me. What's the situation? Japanese police want to put Maria Uso under quarantine. I'm assuming that's on your orders, sir. It is. To important people in Shibuya. We can't allow that virus to get loose. Orders after you tell me. There's no reason to leave Maria at large any longer. If you put Maria Uso under quarantine, she is gonna die, you know. I know that, but far fewer victims as a result. It's something inside Stanley snapped. That moment he lost any inclination to report that he was with Maria. Failure to do so would be dereliction of duty on his part. He knew that well enough. He knew it, but the fact couldn't overcome his revulsion at Gordon's callous attitude towards Maria. Victims are still victims. What was that? Nothing, sir. I'll continue my operation to apprehend Alfred. Hung up the phone. Ow. Didn't care if his superiors took action against him once. This was all over. Intended to sacrifice one person in order to save the lives of countless more. From a purely objective standpoint, it was the right call. But what if that person was a loved one? What would they have done then? Dilemma gnawed at the back of Stanley's mind, and shake the feeling that it was wrong to just accept the lesser two evils, to sacrifice an innocent for the greater good. No, damn it! Save that one life and then save the lives of the many. You needed to find a way to avoid a so-called easy way out, no matter what it took. Was it about to add a second big regret to his life? Oh. Not this time. Saving Maria was the right thing to do. Judgment was wrong, of that he was sure. From that to himself inwardly, over and over. Watching Tateno prepare to depart, the group had put together a reasonable plan of action. Tateno and Cannon would head to the lab with Maria and attempt to get the antiviral for her. Stanley would accompany Kano and the others to the scramble to apprehend Alfred, two-pronged plan of attack. Could they really count on things going as smoothly as Cannon had suggested? Thought back on her earlier words. Once Alfred has made contact with Itomi, call my cell phone. Plenty of information Alfred might want to bargain for, I can negotiate with him directly. Getting the password hinged on whatever deal they struck. What sort of things might Alfred request in exchange? As a thoughtful look at Cannon. Leaving Tatsuno to carry Maria out of the room. Doubted she answered if he just asked what her bargaining chips were, while his tongue watching as she left with the others. Whatever else happened, he needed to focus on capturing Alfred. Monitor displayed in the workroom. The disembodied sound of Alfred's voice from earlier crept back into his mind. Undue for the star of the show to miss the final curtain. It seemed absurd that Alfred would actually show up in the flesh. Nationality, age, sex. So much about the terrorist mastermind was shrouded in mystery. Why would someone who had hidden so well for so long ever reveal their true identity? Yet Alfred had gone out of his way to claim that was precisely what was about to happen. Seemed like he made turning up in person a major selling point of the deal, so it's not actually Palmer then. Okay. I'm looking forward to meeting all of you then. Alfred wanted them to expect him on site and in person, so why would that be? He's using himself as bait to lure me and Cannon out. It was a perfect opportunity to wipe out the two people who are gunning for him with the most. That being the case, how might he attempt to kill me once I'm at the scramble? Flash of insight, no. Something was off here. Thought process was running well, each deduction logically following from the last. But at a time like this, that could be a very dangerous thing. Alfred may have well anticipated where his logic would lead, so do something fucking crazy. That's the best thing you can do then, man. Stanley needed to assume that any clue he thought he found was something Alfred had left behind on purpose, so maybe the suggestion was that their target would come to the scene with a different kind of trap. At the risk of sending himself in circles, Stanley decided to rethink the whole case from the ground up. Single strangest part of this whole thing. Why had Alfred put an amateur like Daisuke Endo in charge of the kidnapping? Being able to get the heart for his daughter gave Daisuke a strong incentive, but there still had to be a reason why he'd been chosen. Kidnapping had failed, what would have happened then? This was Alfred they were dealing with. Possibility of a failure was somehow part of the plan. Managed to accidentally kidnap Maria instead of Hitomi, hadn't he? And with the professional, that sort of mix-up never would have happened. Even if that degree of uncertainty was acceptable or even desirable, using Daisuke seemed like far too big of risk. Some other motive for bringing Daisuke into the plan. Of course, advantage. Using Daisuke must have provided some important advantage that outweighed his flaws. It's the only thing that made sense. I feel like these three are basically all the same thing, though. Okay. Carry out some other objective. Devised a ransom relay and kept full attention of the police on that. Working towards his true goal, getting Hitomi's blood. Kidnapping Maria by mistake had in fact been a misstep. Was trading the password for Hitomi's blood. Could it really be it? Take it up with the man himself. Mr. Endo, let me ask you something. Did you know Hitomi had a twin sister before the kidnapping? I didn't know, so when did you find out? After I had Maria kidnapped, the organ trafficker took one look at her and said I had the wrong girl. Supposed to have abducted the younger one. He never mentioned Hitomi having a twin before this all started. If I'd known, I'd been a lot more careful. Certainly known that the Asawa girls were twins, but despite the added risk that fact implied, he hadn't told Daisuke. Hadn't been an accident. They wanted Maria to get kidnapped. So specifically so they could give her the virus? Ooh, oh, shoot, oh, ooh. Then that means they had to predict that Maria would have tried to get herself kidnapped instead of Hitomi. Then how would Canon know about the plot too? Oh, okay. Okay. Intend for the wrong sister to get kidnapped. Set up the police to write off Daisuke's kidnapping of the wrong target as a simple misstep. Daisuke had been brought in simply in the name of camouflage, but why? After Itomi's blood? After Itomi's heart? Why target Maria instead? Run out of steam again, he was sure on the right track. Only until he found out where that track would lead. Where's the storeroom where you were keeping Maria? Behind a shop, why do you ask? Would you mind showing me? There's something I'd like to check. Go back over everything right from the beginning. Followed Daisuke out of the storeroom. Speaking of the storeroom, there's something I've been wondering about. Just how Maria managed to escape in the first place. Certain you locked her in. The organ trafficker came in by to check on her, locked the place back up after he left her. When Maria was infected with the UA virus, it makes sense based on our working timeline of when we expect her to go symptomatic. Padlock that held it shut lying broken on the ground. Open the door. Look at this mess. Merchandise had been stolen. Maybe some thieves broke in. Digital cameras and laptop computers were missing. Some local thugs. This kind of thing has happened to me a few times before. Where did you have Maria Osawa? Behind those cardboard boxes? Conscious behind him, the burglars might as well never noticed her. Escaped from the storeroom thanks to the burglars breaking the lock. That's something Alphard could have planned, though. Because those burglars were SOS, I think. Unless, like, somehow Kiryu's in cahoots with Alphard. Just what of impact that stroke of misfortune had on Alphard's plan, he wondered. What did Alphard plan to do with Maria if no one had broken in? He's gonna release her at some later time. Why infect her and then not kill her then? Like, if they infected her, they wouldn't kill her. They would want her to spread the virus. Only makes sense. Only one reason to release and infect Maria. To turn Shibuya into ground zero for a pandemic that would sweep through all of Tokyo. Virus with a mortality rate of 100% would have spread throughout the region before anyone even realized it. Possible to even calculate the scope of such a disaster. Circuit around the Yamanote line, and then, if any of the infected happened to head to the airports at either Haneda or Narita, virus would spread throughout Japan and the rest of the world in a matter of hours. That hadn't come to pass. They managed to scare Maria before she could develop symptoms and become infectious. Because we were better than Alphard? No, that can't be it. Wasn't the sort to commit such indiscriminate acts of terror. Rather than infection spreading, probably specifically to give us a time limit to act in a way that Alphard wants us to act, basically. It's probably just something that exists intended to create pressure on us, then. Maybe. Likely just cover to hide some other scheme. What was the ultimate goal? Spotted something that had fallen on the floor. A cell phone. A woman's handbag. Probably Maria's. The cell phone. No response. Broken. Let me see that. See if I can fix it. Think you can? No until I try, but sign out front saying I run an electronics shop isn't just for show. Found a photograph tucked inside that he overlooked on his first inspection. What the hell? Stared at the image, swallowing the lump in his throat. A photo? Of who? Keep out, okay. Is there still a jump to... Nope, that's to Achi. It's also to Achi. Tatsuno lost his keep out. Okay, Kajirawa is fucking dead. Tatsuno's... I'm not Tatsuno. Kajirawa's text is very slow because he is in fact dying, so it's gonna take a bit to skip through it. That's still a keep out, okay. Alfred's composure. Didn't feel right. He still blew up. Vanish against the backdrop of the evening sky. How many have this guy even thrown? There's no way to tell for sure. Death sentence for Shibuya. They had to make sure they caught them all. Cool. Catch one vial deftly. Done the same. Over here, over here, over here. Damn it. They're done for. I'm sure of it. Thank you, Kano. Pair of hands shot out and safely grabbed the falling vial. But Alfred probably got away. Or Palmer did. He probably got away with that, though. Didn't break a single one. Damn it. Disappeared. And I've been able to capture him after all. Which meant they lost their last chance to get the password for the lab. And lost, they failed utterly. But we did everything we could have, right? Didn't make any wrong calls. We'll just have to leave everything to Canon. To trust that she'll be able to save Maria. Stared up into the night sky, trying to reassure himself. This is another bad end. Yeah. I think for this, all the choices are gonna be in Stanley's story then. You still catch it though. We need to get into a position where he doesn't throw everything up then. Because I guess, like, if he throws it up, they explode. And if we catch them, he just gets a white N. Speeding away. Kano doesn't do this. I think someone's gonna explode. I kinda wanna see what happens though. Kept Palmer in sight, he would catch him one way or another. He was gonna bring this bastard down. Made the wrong choice. It's out now. Fuck. Could have never hoped to escape infection. There's no virus in those vials, just a decoy in order to buy you time to escape. It was your eyes. You didn't have the eyes of a man who was putting his life on the line. I know full well the look of a man's eyes when he's willing to die. Played the moment when Tatsuno doused in gasoline. And marched into the financial office to talk down a would-be arsonist. Tightened his grip. Let me have you tell me of Sawa's blood. That was our original deal. It would be easy to get him to talk. Getting her on the phone wasn't an option. Had to figure something else. Car that had been overturned by an accident nearby. Spilled from the vehicle, creating a torture? Are we gonna douse this guy in gasoline? Cuffed Palmer's arm to his... Oh... We're about to burn alive. This is a bad idea. This is such a fucking bad idea. Okay. Tell me the password. Or else you light the gas, you'll be burned to a crisp yourself. Yeah, probably. The hell are you thinking? Scowled down at him. I just want to know the password. Can't kill me. Like the lighter on. Can't be serious. Fixed on the tiny flicker of flame. Password. Value your life so little. The password. Pages of the Dick Diary clear as day. Dictum number 1. Never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect. Ever. Flared in defiance. Closer to the gasoline, he could practically feel his own life growing shorter as his hand descended. Felt no trace of fear. His body was numb, his senses strangely distant. Time seemed to slow, the world around him dissolved into a blur. Surprised at how calm, how remote he felt, here in the midst of his life or death confrontation. And far in the depths of Palmer's eyes, he saw the barest hint of doubt. Fixed his gaze on that point of weakness and did not look away. Palmer's shoulders slumped, perceptibly. Kano was certain of it. This was a man who never put his life on the line before. Jizuo's words sounded in the back of his mind. A cool mind but a fiery spirit. Detective without both of those is worth nothing. Let me go? Promise to let me go and I'll tell you. Is that your answer? I don't think you quite understand the situation here. Still closer to the gasoline. Went wide. No longer was he able to hide his trembling uncertainty. Alright, I'll tell you, just put that thing out. The password first. His voice a strangled snarl. Palmer gave him the password. Kano extinguished the lighter. Dialed up Osawa. He recalled his last exchange with Stanley at the electronics shop. That was honestly a pretty sick scene. Man, the balls on Kano. Goddamn. Turning his attention back to the handbag, Stanley searched it more thoroughly and found a photograph tucked inside. Photo Maria, standing next to another young girl. Something written in marker on the back. Me and Cannon. July 30th. Looked at it again. I see. What does this mean? The girl in the photo with Maria looked nothing like Cannon, who had been there at Endo Electronics, who left with Maria and Tatano just a few minutes ago. If the girl they were working with wasn't Cannon, then who was she? No. 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 Why did not Maria, Hitomi just automatically assumed that she was Cannon then? I doubt they look increasingly similar. I don't know. Why would they just assume that? Okay. If they look nothing like each other. Could she be... Was she Alphard? The more he thought about it, the more it all added up. Assuming that Alphard were masquerading as canon, the whole sequence of events suddenly began to make sense. Shockingly audacious and fiendishly clever. She hadn't outmaneuvered them just yet. As luck would have it, they still had a chance to stop her. You can see the outline of Alphard's plan. Get the antiviral. Extracting the DDS from Hitomi's blood wasn't enough. Koshi Pharmaceuticals still had the drug at their laboratory. Came specifically from having a monopoly on it. In addition to obtaining the drug herself, Alphard also needed to destroy Okoshi's research facilities. That was the crux of her plan. Finding a way to infiltrate those facilities, so you do not want her to get there. Alphard's scheme went something like this. Have Maria Osawa kidnapped, then infected with the Ua virus. Eliminate Tanaka. When infected with the virus, he was certain to use the antiviral on her. Tanaka was dead. That's why Alphard had been masquerading as canon. Maria's friend and an expert at hacking passwords. If she could secure Osawa's trust, he would let her into a research facility in order to carry out the hack. Alphard, in the disguise of canon, had saved Hitomi's life repeatedly, and Hitomi to trust her would likewise earn the trust of her father. Minor details that remained a mystery. For instance, how was Alphard going to destroy the lab? Blowing shit up, probably. Could look into that once he had her in custody. He need to move quickly and stop her from ever getting into a Koshi facility. I fixed it. Best as I could at any rate. Still get a signal, but whatever data on it is all gone. Learned something useful from it, but luck evidently wasn't on his side. He guessed what was really going on. He went to talk to Kano. You need to go to Scramble without me. Don't ask me to explain, something has come up. Hated having to do this. He wished he could explain everything. Oops. But if he made any unusual new moves now, there's a risk that Alphard would pick up on it. Keep his companions in the dark just in case. Do what you have to and come back soon. Sorry. Wish I could tell you more. Find a way to get by. That's cute. Kano gives you a thumbs up. Sight brought back some painful memories. Stanley had instinctively seen Kano as all too naive, and now he finally knew why. Just like his younger brother, Frank. Oh. Might look very different, but the way they mixed up their responsibilities with their personal feelings, they were totally alike. Couldn't discount that naivete. In the end, it was all part of the human condition. Really okay with this? Frank cast a look at his older brother as they made their way onto the University of Chicago. Private university in Chicago, Illinois. One of the foremost research institutions in the US, more than 90 alumni have been awarded the Nobel Prize. A number of major contributions to the world beyond simple academics, including the construction of the world's first artificial nuclear reactor, Chicago Pile 1, and the Chicago School of Economics, a school of economic thought that stresses monetarism. It's my responsibility to look after you. As long as you take your studying seriously, I'm all for it. Worrying about tuition costs as he prepared for college. After losing their parents 5 years earlier, the two have struggled to get by. Yeah, but... He put both hands on his brother's shoulders. Listen, May Frank. You're my brother and I care about you. I just want whatever you do to be something you can be proud of. Alright, I hear you. And thanks. Kano, promising you one thing. What's that? Once this is all over, you'll have to go get a beer for me, with me. It's a promise now. That smile, Stanley again saw a little something of Frank. Dialed up Tatano as he ran along. You're gonna tell him while he's in the car with her? Dangerous. Lab in no time. Ring again. Stanley, what's going on? Your life may depend on it. I'm gonna ask you some questions. If the answer is yes, say that's right. If it's no, reply with, will do. He wildered. From the urgency in Stanley's voice, however, he realized it was some kind of urgency. That's right. I let Stanley know that he understood the code. Is Cannon with you right now? That's right. Cannon is an imposter. Gripped the phone more tightly, hoping it would not stop the trembling in his hand. It's her. She's Alphard. Stifle a gasp of alarm. Don't have the time to fill you in on the details, but I got some pretty incontrovertible evidence. You need to turn back now. Come to terms with what you just heard. Maria still needs to get the antiviral, though. Through the rear view mirror. Holding Maria tightly in her arms. Was this really all an act on her part? If so, why? One possible reason. Cannon really was Alphard, then she had only one goal. Help Maria in order to get into the lab where she would be able to steal the antiviral. Hold on. Cannon was Maria's friend, wasn't she? Said so much herself. Where's the real Cannon? Will the real Cannon please stand up and do something here? Knew what her own friend looked like. Maria might be present, and it didn't make sense for a clever imposter to pretend to be Cannon. Or did it? Right, because Cannon has a tattoo, and I guess Alfred has the same tattoo. Maybe that's why she thought she was Cannon. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Maria had taken off down the staircase without ever looking back. Turned up at Endo Electronics' workroom, Maria had already collapsed and fallen unconscious. Maria had never actually seen a girl who was now sitting in the back seat. What about Hitomi? Did she know what Cannon looked like? What Hitomi said. My sister's friend, I met her for the first time today. They never met each other before today. Maybe Hitomi didn't know what the real Cannon looked like. The explanation that made sense. She's gonna turn and look directly at you from the back view mirror. Still with me? You can find a way to turn back without her realizing what's going on. Even if Cannon really was Alphard, Tatsuno had to keep heading toward that lab. Code of responses in his head. Yes was, that's right, no was will do. Will do. Saving Maria is your top priority, isn't it? That's right. Alright then, head that way myself. In that meantime, do not let her inside that lab. That's right. What's that? Kuze, the cop from earlier. Worried about us and wanted to check up. Only hope she hadn't guessed the truth. The specter of death himself was breathing down his neck. Koshi Pharmaceutical. Barricade. Entrance was an intercom for contacting the security room. Sumi already heard the details from the director. Open up, bitch. Haven't heard anything from Director Osawa. Currently on lockdown. Not even Director Osawa's allowed inside. That's ridiculous. Racing toward him along the street. The man himself. Yep. Kenji Osawa jumped from the driver's seat. Maria! Thank goodness she still hasn't gone symptomatic. Why aren't people being allowed into the laboratory? They're not? It's ridiculous. Got the same story. Can't be kidding me. The lab director here. Sorry, sir. Come from Mr. Makino. No. You supposed to sit out here and watch my daughter die? Racked his brain for other ideas. Climb the gate and break their way in? Oh? Sounded rather deferential. What the world could he be talking to? Open up, bitch. Why? I have a message from Director Osawa from Mr. Makino. Makino? What's that all about? Just my wife was able to pull some strings for us. After Osawa left home, I had a change of heart. Even if it meant losing everything, she decided she wanted to save Maria's life. Although Maria was not Ai's real daughter, it turned out that the time they spent living together had sowed the first seeds of a familial bond. Alright. Character development, I guess, off-screen. Didn't have time to wonder what that might mean. For us as well. No, she wasn't able to do anything about the final layer of security. You're keep inside for now. She's gonna be hacking the password. I am. Your cannon. Should get you to the laboratory then. Awkward. Cannon really was Alphard. Tatsuno couldn't let her into that lab. Without getting that lock open, there was no way of getting Maria the antiviral she needed to survive. Well, Kano just got the password already, so supposedly he just got the password. But if this cannon is Alphard, that means she would have the password already. Ew. That's the right call. Until Stanley got there. Exactly what he needed to do. What's the matter? We'll wait out here. But, I mean, isn't Cannon gonna hack the password? It's like change of plans. Had him wait up for us at that lab director. Don't have much time before Maria develops symptoms. I'll be inside. Please don't keep me waiting too long. What do you think you're doing? Siphoning as Tatsuno nudged the barrel of a gun against her spine. You're Alphard, aren't you? No idea what you're talking about. No use trying to play dumb. Gun. Cartwheeled away at blinding speed, too quick for Tatsuno to keep a bead on her. She already drawn a gun of her own. Facing her to stare down, weapons aimed at one another. She reached to answer it. Don't move. Did you forget the plan? That might be Hitomi calling. I don't care, don't you move. Let out a little sigh. Have you considered Stanley might be lying to you? It's possible, but let me make sure we avoid a worst case scenario. He's gonna hack the password. Okay, a little decoy. Friends will get the fake Alphard to cough up the password. What about Stanley then? Is he on his way here? Who knows? Lowered her gun, full of confidence. Who do you think you're calling? Can't call Hitomi and have her clear up these suspicions you have about me. I don't have time for this right now, wouldn't you agree? We don't have time for this right now. You don't actually need to hack the password. I guess you already got it from Tanaka. You'll be able to get your hands on the antiviral as soon as you get into that lab. I think stopping you is the antiviral still in Hitomi Osawa's body. Possessing the antiviral and having a monopoly on it are two very different things. You want to eliminate Hitomi. That's why you lured her down to the scramble. Am I wrong? How am I planning on getting rid of her? Using this so-called substitute Alphard or something? That's right. Can't think of any other way. Don't know the first thing about Alphard. Keeps the outlines of his plans blurred so that his deliberate actions just get lumped in with the coincidences. That's the crux of his plans. That's how he's able to pull off his schemes by himself. He'll never solicit help from a third party. Seemed like they were cannons, but also like they were Alphards. Called Kano. Quick to pick up. What's going on? You get Hitomi to safety immediately. Alphard isn't trying to get at her blood, he wants her eliminated. Hurry. I just want to let this play out and see what happens. So your little plan has been foiled. As it now, if I really am Alphard, all I need to do is eliminate you here and head right onto that lab. Even without her gun raised, she still radiated intimidation. Might have her at gunpoint, but he could feel the threat of her presence like a gathering storm. Eliminate me. You're the one who doesn't have your gun ready. I don't need my gun. Why is that? She kicked your ass earlier. Come on. Because you can't shoot me. What's that supposed to mean? Her look pierced him like a blade. Worked an unsettling smile and took a step closer to him. Don't move. I don't want to pull this trigger if I don't have to. It's not that you don't want to pull that trigger. It's that you can't pull that trigger. Take another step closer. You'll traumatized from that time you let your friend's wife die. She probably learned that from Daisuke then. How? How do you know about that? Tatsuno was shaking now, his aim wavering. Heard you talking with the younger detective up on that rooftop. Yeah, that. That was right. She had been there. Let's test my theory out. Pointed her index finger at her own heart. If you think I'm Alphard, shoot me. Right here. Huh? Can't do it, can you? You're afraid to pull the trigger. It was as if her words were a spell that she was casting over him. You can hardly even stand the thought of pointing your gun at someone. Chika said violently back and forth, but he couldn't get Kanan's words out of his head. Just shoot her. If you hesitate for a moment, she'll have you dead. That's what Stanley had said. He was right. Don't hesitate. Don't think. This was Alphard, a sadistic terrorist. Just needed to trust himself and pull the trigger. Just pull it. There was a horrid visceral sound. Rushed up Tatsuno's throat. He pitched forward onto his hands and knees and vomited on the spot. Oh, it's bad. Sensation of pulling the trigger. The recoil in the wake of the shot. It's exactly how it had been all those years ago. He never wanted to fire a gun again. At this point, he'd probably never be able to. Or even aiming. Come from right in front of him. Cannon standing right there. Bad end. His heart began hammering like mad. This was the end. Braced himself for oblivion, even as his body cried out to survive. There's a dull roar of a gunshot, and then silence. I wish I could see the hints for these, though, so I know what the fuck I need to do. I think confronting Cannon alone here, which is a bad idea. This may take longer than 15 minutes, but I want to see what's going on in Jack's story first. Life may depend on it. Respond with "that's right" to mean yes, will do to mean no. You find a way to turn back without her realizing what's going on. Maria's your top priority. Alright then. Head up myself, do not let her inside the lab, okay. Probably kill him on the spot. Encouragement would be meaningless. Tatsuno with one final warning. This will definitely affect Tatsuno's story. Stall until I get there. High alert, people on the street were milling about, uneasy, unsure what's going on. Lacks both the infrastructure and legal framework to properly deal with large-scale bioterrorist threats. Coordination between police, Japan's self-defense force, health centers, and so forth would be a monumental task. All likelihood, if a bioweapon was ever unleashed there, the target site would fall into chaos. Stand still. Some vehicles have overturned on the curb in an apparent attempt to circumvent the blockade. Putting their plan into action at the scramble. Wasn't sure who they might have gotten to help, but kinda was certain to be put them to good use. Stay safe. Don't you dare die on me. Prayed silently as he darted underneath the railway overpass. Still parked on his roadside, unfortunately beyond the blocked off area. Nice. Sped off towards the lab. Cool.